You're welcome.
Good morning, committee members, legislators, senators, and the Department of Consumer Protection, who runs Connecticut's program. Thank you for considering Race Bill 5450. My name is Susan Meehan, and this is my daughter, Cindy May. She couldn't walk 3 years ago. We are medical refugees from Oakdale, Connecticut. We're visiting from our new home in Maine. Alexis Bortel is a 10-year-old Texan, a medical refugee like Cindy May. She lives in Colorado. This eloquent young lady spoke to thousands in her home state last week, threatening to one day become governor to change the laws if that's what it takes. She said about her first experience with medical marijuana, "It was a brown oil in a glass bottle that smelled like a skunk." After nearly daily seizures in Texas, today Alexis is 348 days seizure-free, taking a THC high cannabis in Colorado. The law doesn't make any sense. It's time we change it. And I only hope that if a kid can figure this out, that our legislators and our governor are smart enough to figure it out, said Alexis. I wonder what it would have been like if we had treated Cindy May with cannabis when she first came home to Connecticut. When she was 3 years old, she was the star of Birth to Three with no developmental delays. What if we could have saved her brain from the thousands of daily seizures she suffered an hour, and the 4 to 10 grand mal seizures she suffered daily? U.S. patent number 6630507, 2003, Cindy May's birth year. Cannabis is a neuroprotectant and antioxidant. The U.S. patent held by the National Institute for Mental Health, a division of the Department of Health and Human Services, states no signs of toxicity or serious side effects have been observed. Cannabis is not toxic. I can't say the same thing about the 23 AEDs that Cindy May failed. All of them are toxic. The components in cannabis are powerful antioxidants and powerful neuroprotectants, making them powerful life-saving medicines for seizures, Crohn's disease, Alzheimer's, multiple sclerosis, ALS, Down syndrome, cancer, any disease that thrives on oxidation and the resulting neurological damage. Tragically, Cindy May may never move back to her Connecticut homeland. From 2013 to 2015, Cindy May and I moved over 5 times between our homes in Connecticut. This was devastating to her health, her development, and her happiness. She started asking, when I told her we were going home, which home? We lived in a campground in a very cold Maine for 3 months. This was horrible for Cindy May, for our marriage, and for our 3 older children. I had one senior who stayed behind in Connecticut. Connecticut legislators have a responsibility to these other families who have children who hide at home due to seizures, whose children turn blue, and their mom wonders, is this a seizure that will kill him? Whose children starve to death due to chemo, who are dying from head trauma, from Crohn's, from cancers that cannabis can help. Save these children the trauma of running from their homes like Alexis and Cindy May. It's so hard to relocate a child with special medical needs, finding new nursing services, creating a new educational plan, affording the basics. On February 29th, the first foreclosure hearing was heard on our Oakdale home in New London County Court. Using cannabis since 2013, Cindy May no longer has daily seizures. She still has 1 or 2 seizures a week, but for the first time in her life, her baseline EEG is completely normal. Last year, Cindy May and I and several other families fought in the Maine State House to pass legislation to ensure her right to attend school. Like any other American child, my child has the right to a free and public education where other medications with far more serious side effects are administered to children daily. After 2 years out of school, Cindy May now attends Coney High School in Augusta, Maine. We are not ashamed. We will not hide, and we will not run. We have only just begun to fight for our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in all 50 states. LD 557 passed in Maine in a veto override by 2 votes, and our children can now take their cannabis legally at school. Also, it would really be nice to visit home legally someday. Connecticut needs reciprocity. Please help us save Cindy May's friend West. I think she's having too many seizures to be here. Literally, she's having dozens of seizures a day right here in Windham, Connecticut. Cindy May and I thank you for hearing this bill, and we'd be happy to answer questions about her medicine in Maine and how your dispensaries can help.
Thank you, Mrs. Meehan. Thank you for being a tireless advocate. I'm sorry that you had to take refuge in the state of Maine. As I said, I hope we do the right thing this year in the legislature and, move with the times, I guess. We have to look at, of course, whatever science there is and depend on you and many others who advocate and contribute to this discussion. And it's good to see you and Cindy May, and we hope to see you back in our state soon. Are there any other? Representative Srinivasan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much for coming here again for this session and with your compelling story. And I'm glad she's doing as well as she is. Unfortunately, you're a medical refugee, but I'm glad she's getting the medical treatment. And hopefully we'll look into it more into this session. For how many years now has she been on this medical treatment?
Since 2013. So it's just about 3 years.
3 years.
Well,
Right.
it's 2.5 years.
Thank you. Thank you. And during this time that she's on treatment, you did say that she occasionally has breakthrough seizures, and that unfortunately is to be expected, but obviously by and large well controlled. That is the more important thing. Has she had any untoward side effects of this medication, or any other changes that you've observed in her when she's being treated?
Cognitively, she's improved in leaps and bounds, and it's hard to say, is it a direct result of the marijuana? I suspect it's a combination. She's no longer on the powerful benzodiazepam that she was on, the Diastat, several times a day. She was basically drugged on Valium 4 to 10 times a day. Often she was hospitalized. She was also on a barbiturate, phenobarbital. So coming off of those barbiturates and those benzodiazepines has a lot to do with her cognitive improvements. I don't know that she'll ever be quote unquote normal, because she had so many seizures and so many medications that damaged her cognitive development. However, the CBD is amazing. Most adults that take CBD report an immediate cognitive brightening. They're like, wow, it's like turning on my brain. But CBD is not the cure for all children or for all adults with seizures. CBD works well for some kids, and it's certainly probably where most kids should try first because of its unbelievable success in Colorado and in Maine and across the country. But it's not the end-all be-all, and a lot of kids like Alexis in Texas and Cindy May in Maine need a lot of THCA or THC to also control their seizures. But we've noticed developmental gains. I'm not sure if it's the decrease in the other medications or the marijuana. She very rarely appears quote unquote high. It's only maybe happened twice, and some of those problems are when other caregivers have misunderstood directions and overdosed her. She had a 10 times dose one time, and I came home and she was silly. She was ridiculous, and she was starving. And I asked Dad, I'm like, Dad, what did you give her? What did you give her? And he's like, I gave her exactly what you said. I gave her 2.0. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 0.2. So the good news is that there is no known overdose of cannabis that would harm her, that would kill her or cause permanent damage. It did make her silly, and it did make her hungry. An overdose of Valium to that extreme, 10 times overdose of Valium would probably kill a child.
Thank you. And you answered what we was looking for in terms of the unintended consequences of the medication, obviously, which is always a possibility. But as you said, even given at 10 times the dose, accidentally, of course, the only side effect was the silliness and probably not eating at that particular time. Other than that, you haven't observed on any other occasion when doses were given either excessively or even on the normal schedule, that she had any negative impact of being on the medications?
Nothing long-term. Excess CBD will actually make Cindy May very anxious and agitated. It wears off in a few hours, but if she has too much CBD, and that's actually a good indication that she's getting too much CBD, is when she starts to get anxious and agitated. We have her levels checked, and oftentimes it's that her CBD is too high.
Thank you, and I hope you continue to encourage her to be the governor one day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam.